So I wasted all that time. Damn it. Okay, well, welcome to another Jedi Master 362 live stream, and my sincerest apologies. Yeah, while I was doing my live stream, the friggin' computer was, for some reason it went out, so I came back, and yeah. Okay, so, damn, because I had said so much stuff. Hey, now I'm gonna have to check every time. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this channel, um, this is Jedi Master 362, and I am doing a secondary evaluation about my job experience in that store. Um, Now, there's a few things that I've missed, kind of, um, and I will go over those as briefly as I can. Um, so one of which is basically, excuse me, one of which is that at the end of each shift, um, all employees had to go through a um, bag search, and I think they did that for like to make sure nobody was stealing anything, which is fine. But um, it did delay me quite a bit, although it never got to the point um, where getting to the bus was impossible. But it really did cut it dangerously close to the bus passing by every time. Um, so yeah, that's one of the things I missed. Um, I've not known anything about that. Like, I've never known of any stores prior to this one that did that. So, um, yeah, it's interesting. If there's other stores though that do that, just let me know. Just let me know, and I'll look. I'll look it up. Um, Another thing I missed was um, the fact um, that on my ROE, so that's record of employment, um, whoever issued it, um, they put the reason that indicates shortage of work. Now, I know that's a complete lie, because while I was there, they apparently had the funds to hire somebody in the same department as me. And this was when my job was starting to run out. And I I was confused, but you know what? It's like, you know what? I took it as a sign that, you know what, me and them, we were coming to a mutual understanding of, you know, um, basically they wanted me to go, I wanted to go. So basically, it's like, you know what, at that point, um, I decided, you know what, yeah, screw it, let it happen. Uh, but it's not to say that, um, I missed an employment opportunity over there. There was a time when um, they could have hired me to work in a separate department, and I could have been a lot happier. I could have made a little bit more money, I think. I'm not really sure. Let me just look it up there. Just a moment. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, they make it a little bit more. So yeah, I could have had like a little salary bump. You know, it would have been a perfect thing, perfect opportunity for them to hear about that. Like for them to give me an opportunity like that. You know, I'm a college graduate of a technical background, so in computer sciences, and I know how to work with computers. I mean, I've got a whole wall of plaques there, and I'll do a live stream on that eventually. But anyways, that's for another time. Um, Now the problem is, um, yeah, they hired like a fellow student of mine, like a fellow student from the same college program to do that technical work, and he was happy as could be. You know, he was making above minimum wage, and he was working in computers, and at the same store as me. Although I don't think that last point was too relevant. In any case, what happened was, um, yeah, I ended up feeling hurt because like management never approached me, even though on my resume clearly stated that I was a graduate, college graduate, and from that program. Now they never approached me with that job opportunity. They never did, and yet they reached out. So here's the problem. Um, is they sometimes do that. Like people will say, "Oh, you can get job opportunities from within. Just be patient." It's like, you know what? I don't have faith in management for that sometimes, because it's like, yeah, right. That's to me there. That's just a fairy tale. Like from what I've experienced, yeah. Another thing they did. Um, yeah, they basically. So remember in the other live stream I said that I was doing ink and toner cartridge replacements, and well, not replacements, but like recycling. I had to do that every morning, at basically like somewhat late into my term, but I incorporated that every day, and you know what? It's like was it was not bad, but like once I was let go from that store job, then I was basically, yeah, I couldn't even do that because like I yeah, I was let go and I was no longer an employee there, so I stopped altogether. Um, Now another thing to keep in mind was the training methods sucked, and I mean sucked. Like in the beginning, it was as professional as could be. Professional as could be. But eventually, either customers or staff or management would ask me if I knew how to do this sort of task, or if I knew how to do another task. Excuse me. And my honest response was no, I did not know how to do X task or Y task. And and that's very true. That is extremely true because yeah. So what happened was I ended up feeling like, you know what, they just did not they didn't care. They didn't care to train me any better. So anyways, what I'm saying is some stores might be better in terms of training. Others, they might have the weirdest approaches. So that's something you may want to look out for um, when when taking your first job. For example, if your first job is going to be in a store, just be careful of that because some people will actually um, treat you as if you know everything from the get-go. I mean, I was treated like that, and I felt very confused a lot of the time because of that. Um, so yeah, so that's basically the struggles I faced employment-wise, like on their end. Now, for the employment agency, oh boy, where do I go with this? Excuse me. So, with the employment agency, they called, um, like after my 6th week uh, had had passed, and they called me to inform me that I had basically gotten another 6 weeks, so 12 weeks in total. Now, I wasn't too thrilled about that, but I took the opportunity to inform them um, that I had some concerns. So they were open to listening to me about it. But when I opened up about concerns about the job being different or that this and that there, oh man, the employment guy there, he just basically, you could tell he was losing his patience with me. He was like, "This is your job. You've I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about your actual job. This is your job." Even though I was pushing um, sheet protectors, crayons, um, pens. You see the inconsistency of how things like that and the job title. You see the inconsistencies of that. So so that's one thing that still boggles me to this day. I think, and this is just my theory, I think they did that on purpose to kind of like make me not want to work there. And yeah, I found it just really disturbing that the employment agency was not going to help with the inconsistency. I mean, they said that it was my job. Well, it really wasn't. Like, my department was in technology, not in miscellaneous. Like, bat products or um, arts and crafts. That's not technology. That's other departments. My department was in technology. So I think that the employment agency that found me that job, I I would definitely have some qualms about recommending them because of that stunt. Um, yeah, the job coach, she, like I mentioned in the previous um, live stream, she was nasty. Like, she kept harping about my walking speed to smile, and also she kept hassling me about speaking louder and to walk with a sense of purpose. Now, speaking louder, I agree with, because um, like, I need to be heard, right? Like, my voice needs to be clear enough to be audible, and I try. But the problem is, it's very hard on my ears in the meantime. So, because my ears are very sensitive, so you can imagine how awkward that is. Not to mention the fact that she also wanted me to practice saying, "Hello, can I help you?" In a mirror, like while looking at myself in a mirror. Like, to me, it's like, who is anyone to decide that? Like, who's anyone to tell me um, how to spend my free time? I was miserable enough, and I was not going to make myself more miserable. And oddly enough, that job coach eventually suggested um, this little gem. She suggested that I go in the woods and shout that line out loud. No joke. She suggested I go deep in the woods there and shout that phrase. To me, that was just a big fat no. I was not going to dedicate that, like myself, to doing that. Because to me, that just sounded really, really odd. So yeah, all in all, um, yeah. So, please note that um, the nature of these streams about my retail experience is not to put down the retail industry. It is definitely not for that. Um, but on the same token, it's about people making an informed decision of, is this the sort of stuff that I'm willing to try to put up with, you know? when you see um, like your boss hiring a new paid person while you're still in training, how are you going to feel if they're going to do exactly as you're doing or used to do? Probably not good. So this is basically just to protect people who are starting in their first job and such. Um, so yeah, if you feel like I've missed something, please feel free to comment and let me know, because um, there's just so much I can think of at a certain time. So um, yeah. Also, if you find this useful, please feel free to share with uh, anyone who you see could benefit from it, because um, to me it's very valuable information to help people making the decision of whether or not they want to work for the retail industry. Because in my honest opinion, um, while no two experiences are the same, that's for sure, um, I just don't want people to be taken advantage of or being used like I have, and that's why I'm coming forward with this information. So in any case, if you find this information useful, yeah, just share it on Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, whatever platform you use, feel free to share it. And yeah, this is Jedi Master 362 signing off. And have a good day.